graduates.
Thank you everyone for joining us today to celebrate these amazing students who have reached their goal of earning their GED. My name is Betty. I'm a career specialist here at JOG, so I've had the opportunity to work with some of these amazing participants. We are so proud to be hosting this class of 2023 graduates as they close this chapter and embark on new ones. To begin the ceremony, I would like to introduce career specialist Monique Jones, who will get the program started.
Hey guys, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us and working with us as we had to improvise because the air quality today is not cooperating, but that is great. We're here, we're in air conditioning, and everything is going to be great. So welcome, as Betty said, 2023 spring, summer GED graduation. Super excited for these individuals. I've had the pleasure of working with all of them. Some for a longer term than others, but needless to say, the experience was all the same. We've had some good times. We're going to do things a little bit different. I had a student who decided he was going to write a speech that he wanted you guys to hear from his perspective. As requested, I am going to read it for him. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Collin Ochoa. Thank you all for coming today to support and celebrate us. I want to start off by sharing one of my favorite quotes. It's from Brian Cagney, a life coach and author. A comfort zone is the most dangerous area anyone can stay in. It is a place of no growth and no challenges. I was born into the foster care system. I was adopted eventually and got moved to Ohio. I was adopted with my two sisters by a couple who already had another adopted son from Russia. The couple never wanted me. They wanted my sisters, but the state was not going to separate us. So I was adopted at the age of 4 and was resented immediately. I had a terrible home life. I was constantly beat and mentally abused. I developed many issues in the result of this. I became depressed and suicidal. I developed an eating disorder. I grew up angry and bitter. I pushed people away. I was often the perpetrator of various acts of aggression and deceit. I hated everyone, including myself. When I was in 8th grade, I was in lieu of expulsion for the possession of a weapon. It was the second time for that year. I was not expelled the first time or the second. Instead, they chose to send me to an alternative school. I was already considered academically gifted. I believe this was the main reason why I did get a lot more slack in school than most other kids. I have done outlandish things that even now I'm grateful I did not get what I deserved. Teachers, administrators, and caseworkers throughout the years have saw things in me that I did not see in myself. I'm very glad that they stuck with me and believed in me. So instead of being expelled, I went to this alternative school for 2 years. In that span of time, I felt I changed the most. They had group therapy every morning, and it was in those sessions that I began opening my mind to new ways of thinking. I learned new ways to cope with my raging emotions. I learned new ways to handle interpersonal conflicts. I learned new ways of viewing the world. In result of these acquired skills, I started excelling in my academics. I was starting to get my priorities straight. In the middle of my sophomore year, I was placed back into foster care after an investigation was done and custody of me was taken away from my parents. I moved to Akron and attended Kenmore Garfield. I was ranked number 4 in my class when I started. I began experiencing extreme bursts of seemingly uncontrollable anger, which I would become extremely hostile. This would usually be followed by a deep depression in which I would become stoic and be able to get out of my head. Then the cycle would start again. I was soon diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The problem was finding the right doses for my meds and constantly taking my meds. I struggle with marijuana and alcohol use. Those substances do not pair well with my medication and have landed me in the hospital many times. During all of this, I was not attending school and my grades were terrible. I was transferred to Akron Alternative, but the same problem still arose. Eventually, I started making up a lot of work. It was down to the last 2 weeks of school, and I was informed that I could very well not graduate. I had so much work that I had to get done. That was when I decided to get my GED instead. I was told that I could just take the test and be done with high school. That sounded like the better alternative to me. I took my test and passed them all. Now I am able to obtain my GED. As you can see, my life has not been the most ideal one. I've struggled with mental health and unfortunate living conditions. However, I am here, alive, and well, as are all of you. I have grown immensely since I was a young child. I was ushered into high school my freshman year. I assume you all have as well. The paths we rode on to get here are all different. We've all made mistakes. We've all been faced with challenges, and yet we are still here. I hope that you will continue to go forward and improve. This is just another stepping stone. I would like to give a special thanks to one person in particular. She cannot make it here today, unfortunately, is Miss Cheryl. When I was placed back into foster care, she was assigned to be my caseworker. That is when I first met her. I'm the first person to admit that I'm not always the best person to interact with. This was especially true when I first met Miss Cheryl. Yet I found a great connection with her, and she became someone I grew to trust. I think my life would be different right now if I had never met her. She stopped me from making some disastrous choices, and it seemed like she was always there for me. So I leave you all with this. We don't get to choose the life that was given to us, but we can choose what we make of it. Find your someone who you can trust and depend on. The sky's the limit. Believe in yourself and never, ever give up.